3, 2, 1. Hello, welcome. Thanks for joining us under the library. This is our actual play Call of Cthulhu show set in a homebrewed universe created by our keeper, where the story is made up by all of us in the moment. If you happen to like what we do here and are able to support our efforts, we'd very much appreciate it. You can do so by going to underthelibrary.com/support to learn more. Again, a reminder, we are doing a monthly giveaway for those people who are supporting us on Patreon. We will be giving away a copy of the Grand Grimoire of Cthulhu Mythos Magic. I almost made it through that. That drawing will take place at the end of this month, so there's still a little bit of time to get in on our Patreon and get entered to win that amazing book. And if you are a player or GM of tabletop RPGs and would like to improve your storytelling or role-playing skills, if you'd like to make your game a safer, more inclusive, and collaborative environment, you should definitely check out our other show. It's a podcast. It's called Up Your RPG and can be found wherever you get your audio podcasty content. Again, that's Up Your RPG. With that out of the way, let's do a show. My name's Arthur. I'm playing Buddy. Sadly, half of the Buddy and Eddie show is under the weather tonight, so there's going to be no Buddy and Eddie show. We're out, Scott. But I am joined by Chris as John, aka Pappy. Rick as Sam. Wayne as Sister B. Emily as Joe. And as always, our keeper is Michael. Michael, take it away.
Hey, thanks for joining us. Under the Library is a horror tabletop role-playing game, and as such features themes of gore, horror, violence, swear words. But mostly you should know that it's mature content played by immature people. That's us. So if you start off your morning with a tarot reading and a shot of tequila, you're probably in the right place. But since we improv everything, make it up as we go, you never know what we're going to encounter, but we do our best to let you know that there might be intense themes. With that, I'll pass it on to Emily with last week's recap.
Okay. So as we started last week, Buddy and Eddie were moving down the stairs that they had discovered behind the cooler in the gas station. They have flashlights, and they go down into a cave-like space with dirt held back by wire grids. And it's full of shelves, chemicals, tools, and it is clear that they are now under the mechanics bays. Eddie sees some copper tubing running 6 inches from the ceiling. He touches it. It feels cold, and he knows, Buddy knows, that it's exactly like what he saw in the theater under the stage. The pipe has holes regularly spaced on the top. Buddy listens at the door at the other end of the hallway and hears muffled screaming, male voices, screaming they haven't been paid and where is he? And they are questioning a woman, Lana, most likely. They hear her crying. She does not have the answers. They open the door into a narrow hallway and they find another door at the end of that hallway. Bright light coming from the frame. They open that door, they are blinded. They slam it closed and retreat. The yelling continues and the click of a lock is heard. They hear a motor from the room. They run upstairs to the trap door, but something is in front of it and they are trapped as purple gas starts to pour from those holes in the pipes. Moving back to Apricots, after the distressing, traumatizing scene in the house, Jo runs. It's what she does. She insists on leaving town. She won't even see Carly. Sam drives her out and they head back to Los Alamos. On the way, though, Jo opens that box that she found, that she retrieved from under her dresser. Most of the things in there, she remembers putting there. But there's also a tooth, a small white molar, an adult tooth that seems to have rough sides that look like they could have been pulled out by pliers. Jo has all of her teeth. She has no idea where this came from, and Sam suggests to her that it might have been one of her parents' teeth removed from their corpse. Thanks, Sam. It's a hard moment for Joe. But they continue on their way. They go to Richard's house. Joe recognizes Sister B in the headlights, and they just start to talk. They try to catch up. Sam questions Sister B, asks if she's traveling alone, and as they're talking, there's a siren from the base, the same as that first night at the theater. And there's an announcement, the dogs are loose, remain inside. And that's where we ended for the evening.
Yes. Excellent recap, Emily. And with that, we're gonna take a hiatus, right? The Buddy and Eddie show is on pause for the week. And so we'll see what dangers lurk for Buddy and Eddie. Will they survive? Will they make it through?
It's gonna be fine.
The leeching cat.
Yeah, we're gonna be fine.
All right.
We're gonna be fine. Mm-hmm. I'm confident.
You want to roll on that?
No.
I tell you what, I'll roll for you.
Nope.
I'll roll for you.
Nope. It's all good. Nope. Definitely don't have to do that.
Let's see. Okay. However, back at Richard's house, we have the four of you. Well, at least three of you are visible. Pappy's off in the bushes, correct?
I forgot to mention that.
Yes. Pappy's off in the bushes, and Joe and Sam and Sister B are outside the house talking. And the sirens have started to go off in the convoy of lights. So what do y'all do?
Well, as they're talking, I would walk past them and try the door. I don't know it's locked, although I guess we all know it's locked. Both because I want to go in the house and because the dogs are loose again.
Pappy, question for you. Did you unlock the door?
You're muted, Chris.
Yep.
Before I got to the door, I saw the lights, and remember I jumped out the back window.
Okay. Yeah, so you find
what I would like to do just to get me there as quickly as possible. I had worked my way down along the driveway a little bit.
Okay.
And I'm going to come up the driveway as if I had just walked up the driveway from the road.
Oh.
So they see some guy walking up the driveway. Okay.
Perfect.
I go, sister. I know you didn't want any company, but I didn't feel good about leaving a woman walking alone at night, so I followed you.
Oh, Miss, I guess I'm calling Mr. Pappy. I greatly appreciate that. Oh, and I pointed out, this is my friend Pappy. He has come to see us. He is a very good man.
Oh, are these friends yours?
Oh, I know only them a little bit, and I just met this wonderful man. His name is Sam Wagoneer.
Oh, well, that takes a bit of the anxiety away to see that you're not alone.
You should probably get inside as the siren blares. Keeper, is there any chance I would know from Cully any other way to get into the house?
Roll on
a hidden key, a back door, a window with a latch that doesn't latch.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I think, in fact, you don't even have to roll on that.
There might even be, yeah.
The fifth rock up on the driveway, there's a key under it, which will get you in the front door. And which the current owners of the house would not have known about.
That's wonderful. Well, I would like to go get that.
Okay.
Because all these adults are just talking.
Yeah.
And the sirens are blaring. And we always go inside when the dogs come.
What's this talk? Yeah, what are those dogs? What are those? I'm new to town. What are those sirens? You are
You're
too,
gonna
sister.
answer?
No, sister and me are both new to town. I'm asking.
I was wondering, is it a daily thing? the sirens and the dogs, or how often does it happen?
Well, no, it's not daily. It's just that every so. Wait, was that Wayne? That was Wayne.
No,
Never
yeah, I
mind.
was asking Michael. Like, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But we know it's not daily.
Yeah, Joe knows. Joe can answer your character.
Okay. Oh, because I'm just wondering if Sister B, she's been there a little while. She's working at the charity. If she would have heard it before, she's been there like a week.
Oh yeah, then within a week you would have heard it for sure.
Okay, so she knows it, and she says, yes, yes, this is the thing they talking about where the dogs come out. But she goes, oh, I have not seen any dogs yet. Just a lot of commotion. But I was going to say, but Miss Joe, if you need to go inside, that would be good if it makes you
The
feel.
door's unlocked. Click.
Wait.
No.
Sorry, Joe.
No.
Sorry.
Okay. Sorry. The key, is it under the rock?
Yes. When you get to the rock, though, make a spot hidden.
Sure. I rolled a 5.
Damn you! Of course you did. All right. In that case, everybody else is on the front porch, right? You're over here with the rocks by yourself, and further up the driveway. So not back towards the road, but away from the road behind the house, you see a figure coming out of the shadows towards you.
Do I recognize the figure, or is it just like a silhouette in the dark?
It's dark. It's very dark.
I'm going to grab the key and run back towards the house. There's somebody here.
Wait. As you grab the key.
Okay.
Yeah. We should be in initiative here almost.
Yeah.
As you grab the key, right, you're leaning down and you've definitely made visual contact with this silhouette, as you will. And a voice comes from it as you're staring at it. Your heart kind of beating really fast. You can feel the adrenaline coursing through your body. And you hear this sweet southernly woman's voice say to you, well, I was waiting for you. And as you hear the voice, you remember the coin going into your hand. And though your heart, you were racing kind of a moment ago, it started to calm down.
Oh, I know you. I saw you at the theater.
And you were supposed to come get ice cream with me now, weren't you?
A lot happened that night. Where's your friend? Didn't you have somebody with you?
Oh, that's my husband. Don't you worry about him, honey. He's tucked in for the night.
What are you doing here?
Why, I came to see you.
But I didn't know I was going to be here. I just came here. I didn't.
Don't you worry about a thing.
What's going on?
Aren't you going to invite me in? Maybe introduce me to your friends.
That's what I was going to say. Do we actually see a person, or is she just talking to no one?
She's off to the side. She's off to the side of the house. So y'all are probably talking amongst yourselves in the front of the house. If one of you wants to make a listen roll to see if you hear this conversation, Sister B, you're welcome to.
Oh my God, a 3.
I'm buying you all new dice this weekend.
Wow.
So it's been a few moments, and Sister B, and you're wondering what's happened to Joe.
So Sister B says just to Pappy, Mr. Pappy, I hear Miss Joe over there maybe talking to someone. I will go over. I want to see. And Sister B, quickly with her quick little nun steps, zips over there as quickly as she can. And I guess Sam would be over there too. And she says, and before she would depart, Mr. Sam,
just it keeps going in the background.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so
yeah, I'll introduce you to my friends. We should probably go inside, though.
Well, that'd be so nice. Thank you for inviting me in.
Sure. Let's just go inside. Hi everyone. This is I'm sorry, I forget your name.
Why, I have to.
Weird.
I'm Miss Betty Lou.
Uh, this is Miss Betty Lou, and she's gonna come in with us. We should all get inside.
Well, I'll just say, Miss Betty Lou, how do you know our good friend Joe here?
Oh, why, Joe and I go way back, you see, and Joe owes me an ice cream date that she never made, and I was coming to check on her.
When she says ice cream, is there something curiously sinister or anything? Like, for instance, a psychology roll might help with?
Sure, make a psychology roll.
I'm gonna do that. Ooh, 19, which is a hard success.
Wonderful. Sister B, you've known a lot of people in your life, and you've met a lot of people, and you're usually able to gauge their intentions very quickly. And Betty Lou strikes you as very odd because she has an affect about her that doesn't lend itself to any of that.
Gotcha. So I was going to say, with the good hard success, I would think the fact that she can't read her is giving a sense of alarm and curiosity.
Okay.
Or yeah, would do that. And
I would say with the hard, I don't want to leave that much ambiguity. It's far more curiosity for Sister B than alarm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a strange anomaly. And then so Sister B would go right next to Joe and Joe, my friend, and grabs her. I would reach for your hand, Joe, and just to hold it and give it a little extra squeeze. And just says, "Oh, our friend." And when I say friend, I squeeze your hand a little tighter. And is here. And do you know much about her? And I squeeze your hand a little tighter when I say that too.
Joe would like to try to pull her hand away.
Sure.
Yeah. Just then I think you do, right? Like how hard is Sister B going to fight Joe on that?
Hard.
No, just sending you a message or seeing what you were thinking.
Shh. We need to go inside. I need to go inside.
Well, and that would just be lovely because a nice spot. Do you have something to quench my thirst, Joe?
I don't know. I could look if I went inside.
She has to be invited inside, and she's thirsty for something undetermined.
Joe hasn't seen Sister B in a long time, and the last time she saw her, she outed Carly and made her faint. So between the Southern woman who wants a drink and Sister B,
and that's fine.
It's kind of a tough one.
So Sister B will sidle up to this. What's the name of this strange woman?
Betty Lou.
Betty Lou will sidle up to Miss Betty Lou and actually, give a good sniff. I like her clothes, perfumey, gamey, odd, anything of that nature. She's going for any anomalies.
As you're sniffing.
Because she actually, if she's wearing something nice, Miss B would do her thing where she grabs a bit. This is a lovely jacket you have, and we would reach forward and exactly do that. Give a good little sniff on it.
Oh, even better. All right. As you reach forward and touch her clothing and go to sniff, you have this vivid vision, and this would relate something to your backstory. I'll let you fill this in right here. Mm-hmm. But you're going to have a very vivid vision of something comforting from your past.
That would be the okay. That would be the time when she was the Sister B was young with her whole family, and her brother Richard was still with her, and they were very, very young, but she was old enough to be taking care of him, and he was playing in the long grass in the yard, running around, having a grand time, and she was laughing, and everyone was laughing, just laughter all around.
Okay, and so as you're leaning over and taking that whiff, It's an olfactory rush of the grass that your little brother was playing in, and that spring fresh air and everything that surrounded you, and it really stumbles you a bit, Sister B.
And so she would lean back and look, and when she does, she looks up at this woman, and when this thing happens, to see if she's also aware that something's happening, or if she's oblivious to it.
As you're doing that, she's talking to Joe, and she says, while you're having this experience, she's talking to Joe, and she's saying, Joe, dear, why don't you let us in? It does seem to be getting a little, quite a ruckus out here, I do believe.
I mean, we're supposed to go inside when the dogs come. That's what they always say.
I agree, and it'd probably be for the best of us all.
Guys, I'm not part of this scene, but it kind of seems like Joe wants to go inside. I'm not sure, but it's a subtle thing, but I kind of feel like maybe she might want to go inside.
Yeah.
In this moment, could I notice Pappy and just say, "Oh, who are you, strange man?"
So you're like got the key in the lock. It's like this total
almost
there's a lot of anticipation on this door right now, right? Keys in the lock, and you're like, "Who are you?"
In essence, yes.
Okay.
I know all the rest of you.
Oh, yeah. I just met Sister B at a food pantry, and I took a liking to her, and I didn't want to see her walking alone out at night. So I decided to come and make sure she was okay.
Okay. And
now that I know she's okay,
owner of this house?
Now that I know she's okay, I can leave. I'll see y'all later.
I mean, you shouldn't leave. The dogs are out.
Oh, the dogs. Yeah, I'm new to town. I didn't.
Can I turn that key and open the door now, Keeper?
Yeah, get in there.
All right. Let's go inside.
Should I come in too? I don't
want
to.
You should come in. We're supposed to go inside when the dogs come.
Hold on there. And at this point, you all would hear a. And
Are you gonna start singing?
What did we hear?
What?
Oh, you don't hear that? Oh, damn it!
No.
Hold on here.
Nothing.
No,
Like
you
a
got
heartbeat? I heard a thud.
Yeah, I think that was you
That's
knocking your phone into the microphone.
It's because you're not the keeper.
Because I'm not singing.
You don't. Oh God.
No, it's you hear the sound of a shotgun clicking, and I'll say, Joe, you head on in here. I gotta talk to these folks. I don't know why three strangers happen to find ourselves at the same place we were heading. I'm a little suspicious
Sam,
as to what all
put
your
your
motives
gun away.
Do you don't
This is
find
Betty
it
Lou.
odd?
I knew her. I met her. She was very nice to me. She gave me a coin.
Joe, how did she know you were here?
Well, I won't know until I ask her, and I can't ask her if you chase her away.
Well, I need to ask her a couple questions first, dear.
Well, I need to ask her some questions too.
Well, I'm afraid your life or well-being may be in danger, and I need to just make sure you're okay.
You're not my dad.
Jesus. And so I just turn to Betty Lou and I say, ma'am, how did you know Joe was here? And what are you doing here beyond some cockamamie ice cream store? I'll send you a nickel and down at the local shop if that's all you need.
I would say that the only thing suspicious around here is your accent. But my business here is with the young lady. It's not with you. If you would kindly point your shotgun in another direction, it would be appreciated. And as she says that, she reaches out and touches you have your hand under the barrel, right?
Well, I'm not standing anywhere near her. I mean, I'm
Oh,
at least
okay.
I mean, I'm at least a good, I don't know, 6 feet away from people.
Oh,
right?
so you're gonna kill everybody with this shotgun?
Yeah. No, I
Okay.
mean my idea was you would see Joe trying to go inside, and as she's
Your idea is to concentrate the spread on the stranger, and hopefully Joe only gets like half the pellets in her.
Yeah, we can pluck those out.
Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So then she looks at you and she says, and good sir, I do believe you know that shotgun is going to do as much damage to your friends as it is to your foe.
Ma'am, I'm afraid you just referred to yourself as my foe, and I find that a little peculiar.
And she looks right back at you and she says, coming from you, I'd take that as a compliment.
Ma'am, how long have you been here in town?
Oh, much
Well,
longer.
at least since the show at the theater. We probably
And-
told Sam about when he.
Yeah. And she looks at you, Sam, and she says, much longer than you, sir. Much longer than you.
And how long would that be? You seem to know everything about me and Joe.
And she just smiles. And she says, Joe, would you like to let us inside so that we could gather somewhere more comfortably?
Yes, let's go inside. I think that would be a good idea.
Sam,
please don't point your gun at us as we go inside.
And I sling my rucksack over, and I sort of reach my one hand in as I've got my shotgun pointed, and I grab rope, and I say, "Sister."
Yes, Mr. Sam. Mr. Sam.
I do not trust this Byelopushkin. and I say,
how loud are you speaking?
That'd be really funny. I'm right here, says Betty Lou. I can hear you.
And you're all here. And I say, I don't trust her. And I say, if she's going in, it's not going to be with no free hands here to cause any subterfuge. I do not know what's going on.
Am I
here.
aware of this? Do I see the rope? Do I hear the conversation?
I am in the middle of the rope.
Well, you're 6 feet away and I was walking inside. I don't know.
All right. Well, I presume so. I'm not hiding nothing.
Sister, are you sure you want to be here with a fella that's pointing shotguns at people and talking about tying up other people?
Oh, yes, Mr. Pappy, I just met these people. They are very curious, but I need to get in their house.
It's your brother's house. Can't you lay down the law?
And it says, I don't know if it is his house anymore, but
he left the house to Cully. It was my best friend's house.
Oh, I don't know no Cully. I just know a sister B was saying her brother lived here.
And she says, "Oh, I do not own anything. This in this house was my brother's, but he's not here, so it's just their house. And if this Miss Jo knew Richard and is going in, that is okay. And if she invites this woman to go in, perhaps that's okay. It is up to her.
If these dogs are real, then I think we've been lollygagging here a little longer than we should."
I don't think Cully would mind if we used his house to be safe from the dogs. That's always the rule. When the siren goes and the dogs come, we go inside.
Sister B's in no rush to get inside.
Clearly.
Well, I stay with Sister B. If she doesn't want to go in.
Can Joe and Betty Lou, can Joe go inside and invite Betty Lou?
This is up to you. You're Joe.
I'm going inside.
Okay.
There you go.
The house.
All right.
Going inside the fucking house. It's been like 20 minutes.
So you open the door. I'm assuming, right? You're opening the door. And Betty Lou walks closely to you. The smell hits you, right? It's like it's Richard's house. It was. You kind of go back to that night before you went to the magic show. And again, it's one of those things triggered by just how the house smells, right? And everything was good in that moment, right? you were there with Cully and your friends, though new and some unknown. You felt welcomed, and it's different than it's still kind of post what happened with your parents, but it was a sense of belonging with Cully. And so as you walk into the house, there's kind of a hesitation, just a step, like not enough that we have to replay you walking into the house, but a moment where like it catches Joe, and she's kind of pained with like this longing for what it was, and she quickly flashes to Carly, right, and that time alone with Carly where she felt rejuvenated, and all of a sudden she's feeling very mixed in this moment, right? Again, you're kind of in the center of the chaos, among all of these essentially strangers, although Sam doesn't really treat you as an equal, so you're caught in the midst of all of this, and all of that's entering your mind as you take this step into the house, and so it's a very heavy step into Richard's house.
Yeah. I wonder what I should have said goodbye to Carly. Maybe I just mutter that to myself. I don't know. It's an internal monologue. I just
Do you
ran
say?
away.
Do you mutter it out loud?
I mutter it out loud. Yeah.
Okay, and as you do that, you feel a hand slide on your elbow, and
I'll turn to look. I hope it's Betty Lou.
it's Betty Lou standing there, but you don't see Betty Lou. What you see, make a POW roll. Let's see how. I think a POW's makes more sense than a SAN here.
Okay. That's probably a fail, but I just realized it's a 64. I realized I forgot to open my character sheet.
It's okay.
That's probably a
We'll talk you
fail.
through it, or we'll talk over it. It's a big moment here.
Talk through it, talk over it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my POW is I don't remember where's POW. Ah,
Stop.
oh my God, I got it by 1.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay.
And
That was
as you
unexpected.
as you turn over and look at Betty Lou, you see Carly's face, and she's panicked. And you're standing inside the bedroom of the house in Abiquiu, and it's Carly's acting and moving as if you're not even in the room with her, but she's grabbing clothes out of her dresser, throwing them into a suitcase. You can't hear her, but you see her like looking over her shoulder and motioning towards Stephanie's room, and she seems to be yelling, and she's throwing more stuff in the suitcase, and she's grabbing the suitcase, and you walk with her as she races through the house, and she scrawls something on a note on the counter, and then you see her bolting out the side door towards the driveway, pulling Stephanie along. You've never seen her act so kind of aggressively, and and you see Stephanie kind of being dragged out onto the driveway. You pause in this vision and you look down at the note, and all it says on it is, "Dear Joe, I'm sorry I had to go, Carly." And for you three who are onlookers, possibly, this is nothing. It's just like a pause. But Joe, like you blink in a second, and all of a sudden Betty Lou's staring at you, and she just kind of nods at you.
Why do I feel like you know what I'm thinking?
Oh, honey. And don't you worry, I'm here for you. Why don't we go have a seat?
I know this is crazy, but do you?
To say I know what you're thinking might be a bit of a extrapolation, but I certainly know what you've seen or what you could have seen.
What do you think I saw?
Well, I think you've seen the answers that you needed to see, honey.
Was it real? Is she
What it
gone?
what is real? I can't
I
answer that for you.
Real is real. There real is Carly in her house or Carly uh, gone.
I'm just a conduit for you.
I think I need to sit down. There like a couch. I don't remember the layout of the house.
Yeah, there is, right? There was a sitting area, but it's not like it was in any way, right? Things have been cataloged and tagged. There's books in boxes. There's still some items on the wall. Uh, there's the weird kind of images that have been cut out of their frames. Remember, y'all had cut or like people
right.
had
Chris did
cut
that.
out cut out all of the images and rolled them up, and they were on the counter.
They didn't clean up all the blood, right?
All the blood's cleaned up.
Oh, okay, but they left the chalk lines because
They've left chalk lines. Yeah, things like that. It's not. Let me back up. It's not move in cleaned, right? It's cleaned up.
So they cleaned up the chunks, but the stuff that like seeped into the floorboards is
right. Nobody scrubbed anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So they cleaned up.
So I'm just gonna preface this by saying that Joe has been losing sanity pretty quickly, and this may seem like a crazy action, but having just had this vision and it feels so real to her, she's gonna, I don't know, Sister B, are you still outside? Are you near the door? Can I see you right now? You are, however, muted. That I can say.
Yes, Sister B is just outside front door, and she was listening to sirens, watching, not for dogs, but for cars coming that way.
Okay. Well, then I guess instead of sitting, I'm just going to move towards the door and say, this is your fault. Carly had to run. She probably ran because you came, you called her a different name. You made her feel unsafe.
I says, "Oh, Miss Jura, what are you talking about, Cully running?"
I saw it.
You saw something. You are in kitchen with this interesting woman. And then
She wrote me a note.
So it's her nunnishness. She reaches out because she helping people and such like that. She reaches out to your shoulder just to calm you for a second.
And as she puts her hand on your shoulder, and then immediately Betty Lou puts her hand on top of Sister B's hand on your shoulder. And Sister B, describe a memory of you and Jane from when y'all were close.
Oh, Jane was very, very, very young, and when we were close, and I would be taking care of her when she was only maybe 1 year old. And a wonderful memory was when Jane looked up at me with a great big smile, and I was feeding her favorite sweets. We picked right off the tree, the apricot tree that we had in yard, and she loved them when I would smush them up a little bit.
Okay, and so this is the vision that you're seeing, Joe, is of Sister B giving these fresh apricots to her younger sister. And you can't, there's no direct relationship, but you have this vision of that baby growing into Carly. And there's a whole vision of things that happen in between those moments, and it's fast and incredibly tense. But you feel the kind of maternal instinct that Sister B had as an older sister over Jane.
Staring at her, my eyes will just get really wide. And since I'm still in the throes of believing these visions that I'm having, I'll just say, you really You were really close. You cared for her.
Oh, and I said, "Oh, are you talking about Jane? Just for a short time. She was half sister and was very young, but for a short time we spent together a little bit of summer. We grow very, very close. She doesn't remember. She's too young, but we remember her very fondly, and her eyes are the same eyes I saw back in Abiquiu.
Well, if she's run, she could be in danger.
I did not know she was running, and I do not know that you know she's running. You have seen something.
Well, you
And
just saw something too, right? Did you see what I saw? Did you see yourself? I recognized you. But you
Sister B,
look so
you didn't
young.
you didn't see a thing.
Oh,
and
that was only my vision.
Yeah.
So Sister B is
No,
confused.
but it's great. That's what I think. That's what
Okay.
you would say, right?
Yeah,
Like you
yeah.
would, yeah.
Yeah.
And Sister B pats your shoulder, pulls her hand from underneath um, the other woman's hand, and then would grab the side of your arm and pats it and says, "Oh, Joe, I do not know what you've seen, but sometimes, yes, these things do happen, and you do see realities." Miss Sister B is, not. She's the opposite of Rutherford, who, doesn't make sense. She is open to the concept that these
You
curiosities
gave her
can happen.
apricots.
And she says,
Did that really happen?
Sister B, make a sand roll.
"Yeah,
That's gonna be intense.
it's a good one." It's a 97.
Oh
Oh dear.
Wow. All right.
Wow, who knew apricots could be that triggering?
Here we go. We hadn't had one of those. Y'all been rolling like sub tens for so
Yeah.
long.
Made
All
up
right.
for it.
Take 3 points of sanity there off Sister B. And Joe, as you say that, Sister B actually stumbles backwards.
Oh no.
Right. And part of this, Sister B, is twofold, right? That's a very private memory, but B, you're so guarded about everything that for somebody to be able to penetrate like that deeply into your childhood is completely unsettling, right? Because part of who you are is being guarded and protecting that information. And so this really throws you.
And in this throwing and this reeling that Sister B has, it is because of Joe, or it is this woman? Does she knows the difference? But it's the source. She's looking for the source.
Yeah, it's especially with that 97, it's coming straight from Joe. You're not fixated on this woman at the moment.
Okay. And so yes, Sister B would just say, "Oh, and oh, I need to sit down for a second. And is there a kitchen chair or something to sit in, and glass of water?" And Pappy, and she reaches out for Pappy. "Pappy, help me. I do not feel well."
Okay, yeah,
I'm
I definitely help you inside.
And she allows Pappy. She needs it. She allows Pappy to help her,
And I
guide
say,
her inside.
ma'am, and I whisper, the kitchen is okay. Don't look anywhere else.
And I say to Pappy,
Something really bad happened here.
and Sister B sits down. She goes, and says, "Oh," he says, I can almost feel them coming for me and finding more out, Pappy. I feel that." And she reaches out with her hand grasping, and just kind of grasps your jacket, and kind of, when you kind of pull it, and someone's a little bit in the throes of something darker, and she says, "Mr. Pappy," and looks you directly. I feel them getting too close to me. They have found out too much. They want me. They want me to go back." And then and then settles down into her seat.
It's okay, sister. You just focus on us here. Keep keep looking at us.
Yeah, just-
Don't worry about things that happened in the past.
And
You're
it-
here now in this moment.
And Mr. Pappy, could you go outside and bring in my a suitcase? I need to get inside to get something to wipe my face with.
Will do, sister.
Pappy, make a spot hidden roll.
10.
You're comforting Sister B. You're in the kitchen, and you can't help but notice an odd series of symbols etched into. So there's an island in the kitchen,
Yep.
and right at the
Mhm.
bottom of the cabinetry that on that island are a set of symbols, and these would be different than the hobo language.
Oh, okay.
And they are a set of symbols that you would only know from your order. This is a highly specialized set of symbols.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they say something to you. What do they say to you?
Let me say. So this.
We'll come back to you in a second because
Yeah,
Sister
yeah.
and B and Joe have a moment. But those symbols are going to speak to you, and I'll let you determine what that is. So, Sister B, we're back with you, and
Mhm.
Joe. Yeah.
So I guess Joe is probably just standing there looking from Sister B to Betty Lou and trying to parse out, to put her reality back together.
Does anybody know if they have a sip of whiskey in this house?
Well, Sister B wouldn't be. She's not in a state to answer that. That
Yeah,
would be-
it's fine.
Yeah.
And she
I
starts
know.
she starts moving through the upper cabinets, and she finds a bottle and she pulls it down and a glass, and she's pouring herself a nice little taste of the whiskey, and she looks at you, Sister B, and she says, You look as if you've seen a ghost. Could I pour you a glass?
And she commits Sister B and says, "Oh, I will take a small glass of this whiskey. Yes, you
Okay.
put it in front right now. I don't
And-
know if
She pours for you, and then she calls over to you, Joe, and she says, and you, Miss Joe, would you like yourself a little spot of whiskey too, maybe to calm the nerves?
Oh, yeah. I think
Sis-
so.
Sister
Okay.
B looks at the glass of whiskey. She's just kind of curious, and when she puts it down, she's wondering if, because she got close to her, but she just has this odd feeling about this woman, whether
Yeah.
she's like literally warm or cold. And so when she puts the whiskey down, like if you were cold and she took her fingers off of it, it would have that, the little foggy bits against the whiskey that would be room temperature. Does anything
Actually,
like that happen?
you don't have to go that far because I meant to say something. When your hand was on Joe,
Mhm.
and
She had her hand.
and she put her hand on your hand. And if you're wondering about that now in this moment, you're thinking
Mhm.
back to that, and you think how nice and warm her hands were. Not sweaty, like hot, just like warm and comforting. You just felt good.
But too pleasantly warm. So that's the thing, is she's starting to sense there's something like theatrical, like she's the things are too perfect with this creature, and in Sister B's mind, the devil is too perfect,
Sure.
and so that's where her
Absolutely.
head is going, and just to lead that on. That's exactly what she's thinking, and so when the glass is put down, she's looking at her, and she actually says, "Oh, Miss what's her name? Mary.
Betty Lou.
Betty Lou. Miss,
Actually, before you go on this thought, we're
Yeah.
going to take a quick break.
okay.
All right, let's make it a short one. Take 5 minutes, and we'll be back on the other side. We are back from break. Michael, back to you.
All right. One thing I'd like to get is Sam's perspective on the situation. What are you seeing? What are you thinking, Sam?
Yeah.
Alright.
So I guess one question I'd have, and I'm happy to roll for it there, Keeper, is
You're gonna shoot somebody?
Not yet. When Sister B, I'm going 6-40 on that one right now. So when Sister B put her hand on Joe's shoulder, and then creepy Emma Lou Bada Boo put her hand on the making a hand sandwich.
You mean Miss Betty Lou, the one you're jealous of her accent? Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Did I notice like that interaction? Was there in front of like the doorway entrance or the entrance to the property. Did I notice though any of the peculiarities of that situation?
So roll for it, yes, on a spot hidden, and then while you're rolling for that, I'm just going to explain that while these visions are happening after Betty Lou touches people, they're very quick, right? Yeah. If you're an outside observer, there's not a lot going on. What you would notice it as an outside observer is the recipient's response. So that might be the big trigger there that something's happened. Otherwise, these are mere like quick pats or gestures or even sleights of hand, to turn the phrase. So how did you roll on that?
Yeah, 72. Did not catch it. But the one question I'd have is, Betty Lou's eyes. Like, does she doing anything funky with her face in these moments? Like, her eyes closed, like she's concentrating?
I mean, she pulls them out occasionally and they rest in the palm of her hand. But other than that, no, there's nothing going on wild with her eyes. In fact, the more you're around her, the calmer you get, right? The more settling her presence is. And so even in spite of, say, Sister B's attempts to be suspicious of her, it takes a lot of will for Sister B to stay suspicious of her, because this Betty Lou has such a calming affect about her. Which I think is, if we go back to you, Sister B, that's where you was with the whiskey glass, right? Or post, and the warm touch. Okay, yeah.
So I mean, if they're all marching in and paying me no heed with my protests, I suppose I would just have to take a look around, make sure there's nothing coming up the driveway, no scampering pooches. I'm presuming the hooting and hollering of that alarm is still a blaring.
Yeah, and the convoy makes the road right, and so as you kind of look out, that convoy of headlights makes its way right outside Richard's house, and there's even searchlights right off the vehicles spreading out into the trees around, and these vehicles are obviously looking with their lights as they kind of run around and search for something.
Oh, and just to clarify, I mean, me being in this town for some time, have I encountered Betty Lou before?
Interesting. Let's roll on that.
No.
Have you encountered Betty Lou before?
And had you threatened to shoot her before, if you have?
He's threatened to shoot everybody he's met. What does that mean?
I mean, my presumption is I haven't, or if I have, I've forgotten it.
Yeah, and I think that's what it fits into, right? Like, she's not a figure who sticks out, right? Like, she's not somebody who you're like, oh man, if I'd seen her, I'd remember her, right? She kind of blend in with the background.
She's just a common cup of milk toast. So I'll make a note of where that convoy is going. Are they drifting away at this point?
Yes. Yeah.
Wonderful. And so I'll just sort of take a look around, and I'll sort of make my way inside. Okay. And at this point, I would need to pause, take one more look outside, close the door, and then I would slowly walk towards that kitchen. I'm hearing the procession.
Can I retcon for a moment? There's a moment.
Do.
The convoy comes by and it shines a light right down the driveway, just right in your eyes, Sam. And you're holding. You're holding your shotgun and you put that your hand over your eyes because it's so bright and the light pauses there. It feels like 30, 40 seconds, but it's probably only a matter of 5 or 10. And then it drifts off of you and then the convoy drives on. And then you can go back into the house and close the door.
Okay, that's now you got me all nervous. So Sam's did that trigger Sam? Actually, I'll ask this.
I'll
Given
make a sand roll. Yeah, I didn't even think about that aspect of it. Sure.
that's where I thought you were going with this, which is why I was sort of smirking.
I'm glad you reminded me.
Yeah, I'm glad.
I'm gonna hit the mason jar while you make that roll.
Oh my lord! Now let me just ask you a question.
Mhm.
He,
Is
what
a 98, 99 bad?
Well, it's a 95, and I just need to know: is that the line, or is it 96 and higher?
That's
96.
Yeah,
96.
you were like right on the line. Your toes are right behind it.
Okay, that seems appropriate.
God, that would have been so good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That would have changed things if you had fired that shotgun at that bright light.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you're good.
Oh,
though.
so I'm fine. I'm fine. Okay, so I'll head on in, close the door, and make a mental note of that, and listen to this conversation. And
oh wait, you still that was a sand roll, right?
yes.
Oh,
You did. I just rolled.
Oh, so hang on. As a sand roll, you can deduct 2 points as that triggers you. What does that trigger you? I think personally, well, I'll let you take this moment. You can have this moment. What does that bright light trigger you for?
Well, I think that would trigger. I think that would trigger the bright lights that I recall from many times where I'd wake up in the middle of the road and then open my eyes and see the headlights of my own car. So it blinded me with sort of these gaps in memory and lapses and this vague sense that I may or may not know Betty Lou, but she's it's just sort of becoming almost a sense that I can't trust even my own sense of self or time or memory. Just a little inkling sort of dips in, and
okay,
yeah,
perfect. That's
yeah.
All right. So and then you head back inside the house.
And then I head inside, and I'm still weaponized, and then as I see this weaponized. As I see this interaction, I'll just yell out to Joe or call out. I say, Joe, do you know where they keep any of their Richard kept any of his I don't know, their dish rags or oven mitts or anything of that sort?
Oh, Sam,
I mean, you could look in the kitchen.
Oh, very well. And I'm making sure I'm keeping a wide berth from Betty Lou as I'm sort of like going through, looking through these drawers. Particularly, Keeper, I'm looking for a pair of oven mitts.
Okay. As you're doing that, she pours a glass of whiskey and she slides it right down the island in your direction. And she goes, "It's okay, Sam. You keep your distance, but here, you pot your thirst while you do." And then she turns back to you, Sister B, because you have this kind of look on your face as you're trying to figure her out. And she just looks at you.
And Sister B then goes, "Oh, Miss Betty Lou, Miss Betty Lou," and puts her hands out in a gesture for her to help her stand up. She's in her chair.
And she does. She reaches up.
Okay.
She pulls up Sister B.
So when that happens, Sister B looks her directly in the eye.
Okay.
Without blinking.
Okay.
And Sister B's thoughts are of Betty Lou in an ocean of water, drowning, with her hands flailing, and she's spinning about, and she can't swim, and she's going to go under. She's gone under, the type of thing we've come up again. And Sister B is sticking to that thought in her head, wants to see, because in the countries that Sister B is from, there's many talks of in the gypsies and such like that, the people who read your thoughts. She is very suspicious that this woman is doing that, and what she will do if she sees herself flailing in this terrible way.
Make a POW roll.
5.
Wow. Wow, I wish you could see my roll. You'd be impressed. This was a roll off to beat the band. Okay.
Wow.
And so you're just really, really focused on that thought. And Joe, as you're watching,
So just want to go back to this. This would be the times when Sister B was back in her home countries when they were being persecuted by Soviets, and they were doing their utmost to hurt them and torture them. And Sister B is in that concentration mode of self-preservation and locked in.
okay, perfect. And you're locked in that, and Betty Lou simply raises your hands up and lifts you, and you're just so focused on pushing this thought at her, and she kind of unflailingly lifts you up from your couch, and at the end,
lifts up completely off the floor, or just picks her
no,
up?
just helps her up. Like
Helps her
there's nothing physically weird going on in this sense. And you're pushing it. And tell me more about this. You're imagining Betty Lou drowning, right?
So Betty Lou is in an ocean. The waves are a swarm around her. There's a storm, and they're swirling about. And it's the ocean. The ocean is it's like a cold North Sea type thing, and it swamps over her a few times, and she reaches up and she goes down, and in Miss B's mind, this is the ocean of righteousness, and a creature in it, that is not as wicked is being pulled down into it, and she's using that imagery of the swirling about her, and she's gone up, down once, up again, and down once, and is flailing perhaps for the last times.
Okay, and so that's her vision, and as Betty Lou picks her up, the vision in Sister B's head is one where she drowns Betty Lou, right? She drowns her in the sea of righteousness. And after Betty Lou drowns in the sea of righteousness, the sea calms perfectly, glass still. And the clouds part and the sun comes out. And this is odd because it's out of Sister B's realm, right? Like she drowned Betty Lou. And Betty Lou comes from you. As Sister B's looking in this vision and focusing, it's a little strange for her because it's gone out of this ability of her to channel the thought, and she's drowned Sister B. But in the distance,
Betty Lou.
Betty Lou. And in the distance for Sister B, walking across the water of these calm ocean is this figure, and it appears to be Betty Lou. And then you snap to into the moment.
So she walks on water.
And Keeper, I'm watching this interaction.
These are fast. Remember,
these are fast. Yeah.
Yes. Like everything is right. Like I said, everything that we're describing visionary wise, it might take a while to
just
play
a moment,
out
for sure.
But it's just a moment.
Yeah. So Sister B is looking intently into in Betty Lou's eyes to see if there's any disturbance, any upset, anything of being upset. If this sense of calm and her prevailing over all these things is actually true and there's integrity to it, or if with her really good concentration, if there's some sort of facade going on. She's trying to break through that. That was part of her concentration. It's like when your person who is the torturer is being good to you, but they're not, and so she's got that mindset of this person. This is a play, and she's
make a psychology roll.
11. That is a extreme success.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Damn. This becomes my difficulty, right? Like, do I balance out your 97 with your 11? I'm going to come back to you. I got to think about that one.
Well, the 97 was sanity. So sometimes in sanity, there's clarity.
Wow. What a only a Wayne argument like that.
Sometimes you have to be insane to be able to accept something completely obscure, but bizarre, ridiculous, and at odds with the world around you.
Here's what I'm gonna say. I think for Sister B, I don't think she's gonna overreact, but I think in Sister B's mind that Betty Lou is too calm and too reserved, and that excessive. She reads it well with her psychology role. She reads this calmness and this pervasive kind of energy that settles things, but she's very suspicious of it. I do, right before we close, I want to cut to Pappy. And Pappy, let's talk about these symbols that you saw at the bottom of the cabinets.
Okie dokie.
And what is the message that the symbols said? Or what are the symbols?
The symbols would be like a spiral.
Okay.
A hand with crossed fingers.
Perfect. All right. And so what it is it's underneath the cabinet then is the hand with crossed fingers etched very darkly. And then there's lighter iterations of it turning. And for you, Pappy, you know that means behind that location is important information to your order. And that it needs to be retrieved at all costs.
Wow.
Okay. Well, I will just stand up like, if I bent down for a moment to check out something I thought I saw on the floor, I'll just stand up like nothing happened and, flick a piece of lint off my fingers.
Okay. And I think as that lint comes off your fingers and falls to the floor, that we close for the night.
That is going to do it for us tonight. Until next time, you can find us at underthelibrary.com. Don't forget to check out Up Your RPG, wherever you get your podcasts. If you would like to connect with either Michael or myself, the easiest way to do so is on Twitter. Michael is at Under the LIB. I am at Tall and Nerdy. So until next time, for me, for Michael, for Wayne, for Emily, for Rick, and for Chris, have a good night, and we will see you next time.